Good afternoon, Professor Rubino. The topic that I chose to evaluate consumer behavior over is the motivational factor of validation and the behavior of shopping. So, how does validation really motivate consumers? Validation has a lot to do with how we choose to buy certain products. It can be as little as something that you go to the grocery store for, like Coca-Cola. You may choose Coca-Cola over Pepsi just because it's the status quo, and people accept that as being valid over some other off-brand. So motivator is validation. So what really is validation? Like I just explained, validation is seeking the approval from others. Why is validation important to some and not for others? So some they like to be a part of the status quo. Uh, they like to try and by trying to seek that approval from others, they want to be validated, and others that don't want to be, they seek or they feel more comfortable with making decisions themselves and what's best for them, rather than trying to trying to make the best decision in the interest of what they think others will think about them. Um, what do high and low level needs for validation look like? High level needs for validation are people, like I said, they consume products that may be of popular demand, and low level needs of validation. They're going to try to seek out something that they are specifically looking for. They want to they want to have the best possible product, even that may uniquely fit them. They're going for their personal needs more than the approval of others and what others will think. Um, the behavior that I chose was shopping. So shopping and being intertwined with someone's need for validation. Like I said, it's simple. It's if someone goes to pick something off the shelf, and they seek validation more than those who don't, they may pick more popular products. Um, People seek comfort and validation because it's widely accepted. They want to feel comfortable in what they are choosing, and because they seek the validation from population, they want to they want to they feel comfortable in making the decision to for a product that others accept rather than what they would particularly want. So basically, one of the examples that I came up with is Apple. They come up with new technology every, I mean, who knows, probably half a year, 6 months or so. Most of these, or some people, they can't wait to get their hands on this new phone, not only or not particularly because the technology is advanced, because we all know that there's not much advancement to the new phones that Apple's come out with, the phones that Apple comes out with, but because it's the new phone. You know what I mean? It's validated. So lower high need for validation directly correlates with behavior. Whether they have a low or high need for validation, their consumer behavior is going to reflect specifically how they feel about that specific correlation. All right, so the moderators that I chose for my motivational factor is being an introvert and extrovert. I figured that these two were pretty good moderators that would reflect quite a bit of difference on what what my motivational factor would be. So first off, being an introvert is basically finding happiness and energy in oneself. It affects consumer behavior because they don't necessarily need that time with other people. You know what I mean? They're happy with the decision that they make themselves, and they're happy with what they do by themselves. Introverts, like I said, I would assume that they would give a pretty low need for validation. Now, extroverts, on the other hand, these type of people, they find happiness and energy with others. They like to, bounce their energy off of their peers and people that are around them. The effect that that this group of people has on consumer behavior is the fact that, since they have an outgoing personality, they want to be accepted by their group of peers. They may consume the products that their peers would accept them for. Like I said, in particular to my behavior of shopping, if let's say Kanye West is widely accepted in their friend group, they may consume products that he would approve of, but more specifically, what their particular group would approve of. So the psychographic profile, what do people with high levels of motivation look like? So I briefly just touched on this, but basically, people with the high levels of motivation for validation, they're going to look like the people that may not be accepted by other people. And the reason for them wanting to have validation may be because they feel like they aren't accepted. They may feel like they're insecure. They may live in some form of poverty. This isn't in all cases, but I believe that in most cases this could be realistic. And people with low levels of motivation and validation, I think it's going to be people that may even be famous, may have wealthy characteristics in not just specifically financially, but in other areas as well. These people are confident. I feel like they're, they may even be physically attractive. I just feel like that people with low levels of motivation for validation, they already feel valid, so they don't need that from other people. So one of the implementations that I really think actually may be effective is partnering with a company like Old Navy or JCPenney, but in my particular case, Old Navy, a back to school sale or a back to school shopping is a big thing for kids that are going into middle school, high school, elementary school. When they're going back to school, they want to be approved by their peers. They want to, on the first day of school, they're trying to make an impression. And so I feel like the implementation that would work best is if they hired some sort of endorsement, a celebrity endorsement to increase their validation level, so that these people that are going back to school are they're excited to look like this person, and they know that the things that they are going to buy will be valid to their peers and other people that they will see at school. The reason that I think that it'll be so effective for people with the high need for validation is the fact that, like I said, if you're able to get a high enough profile for someone that their group of people know well, I feel like they will be able to latch on to trying to, they're not necessarily trying to be like them, but I feel like if if they look like them, they feel of the same status. But that's pretty much it. I actually had a really good time completing this project, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.